everybody else was getting married, having kids, buying houses, and I was still house sitting in Asia, like living in other people's houses for free.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Radiant Women. I'm your host, Vanya Beric. Today, I have Deasha Waddup with me, and she has worked in marketing for over 9 years. So, ladies, if you're needing some help with marketing, listen up, because what she's about to tell you is just, I love it. It's just mind-blowing. So, Deasha is accredited, by Facebook as a lead trainer, has helped businesses scale 6 to 7 figures since launching social retreats in 2016. Deasha has perfected an organic marketing system that she now teaches through her coaching programs. Deasha, thank you so much for coming on the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so tell us, just get straight into it. Tell us about how did you get started into marketing?
Yeah, so my story actually started with a one-way flight to Thailand. I was qualified in events management, and that's what I did in my degree. And I was working all the hours and earning very little, working paycheck to paycheck. I went through a breakup, and I was like, right, something has to change. I was 25, and I was like, right, enough is enough. I need to do something different. So I booked a one-way flight to Thailand and got a job teaching English in Thailand. And I was like, this is it. This is going to be my life. I'll just go live abroad and figure life out. Turns out I am not a teacher. I'm not a fan of kids. So that was not going to be my calling. I was like, I need to find something else. So whilst I was in the middle of nowhere in Thailand, I was in about 6 hours outside of Bangkok in the middle of nowhere. Very, very Thai area. So I had not very many people that spoke English. I was like, right, let me figure out this digital marketing stuff because I might be able to do this whilst allowing me to travel, work online, build an audience. So whilst I was in the middle of nowhere teaching English with screaming children, I taught myself how to build websites and taught myself how to build a following. And I met a girl who invited me to go to Australia with her. So I said, okay, that sounds like a plan. I'll go do that. So I went over to Australia, and then people started hiring me in these marketing roles because of what I taught myself in the back end of Thailand in the middle of nowhere. I would walk into a job interview and they'd be like, oh, can you design websites? I'm like, yeah, I can do that. They're like, oh, cool. What sort of websites have you designed? I had done a few for like a few $100. So I'd show them those, and I was like, oh, and I built this following up, and this is what I've done for myself. And they're like, oh, awesome, we'll hire you. And I'm like, oh, cool, okay. So I started getting jobs in marketing that way and building up my experience. And I ended up in Sydney working in marketing. And I realized that I was doing the exact same thing I was doing in England. I was just going to a job and coming home. I was just in a different country doing it. And I was like, well, this wasn't the plan. I didn't know what the plan was, but this wasn't it. So I quit my job again. And this was 5 years later. I quit my job again in Sydney, and I went back to Asia and started Social Treats. So in 2016, Social Treats was born, and I house sat around Asia trying to figure out this online world of getting money and being paid. And I started doing social media management through freelancing, but I panicked and I hit my 30s. And I was like, I should grow up and do life, like adulting stuff. So I came back, right? So I came back to England and I got a job in digital marketing. I was a digital marketing account manager for a national firm, organizing huge £1 million campaigns. And but still wasn't happy. So I started building my business up on the side. And in the end, my business took over my full-time income. I'd hired a VA well before I quit my job to help me run my business. And my business was making more money on the side than I was full-time work. And I was like, okay, something's got to give here. I have to quit my job. So I quit my job in 2018 and have been building my business ever since. And I transitioned to coaching in 2019.
Wow, what a what a wild story with everything that you've gone through to
Yeah.
get here. Of course, being a therapist, one of the things that stood out to me because I love talking about this, and I think so many women feel this. You said, I had to grow up, I had to adult now.
Yeah.
What was it about that situation that made you feel like whatever it is you were doing wasn't good enough, that, you had to do something? What is it? What was the thought? Maybe something more serious or something with higher paying?
Yeah,
What
it was that.
considered as a what was considered as adulting?
For me, it was everybody else was getting married, having kids, buying houses, and I was still house sitting in Asia, like living in other people's houses for free. It's like, okay, I should be
Ah,
further along in all of these little tick boxes that we call life by this point. I'm like, I feel like I'm well behind everybody else's tick boxes, and I need to go and catch up.
right. Can I ask you, were you happy doing what you were doing at that point?
No. So in Asia, I was very, very lonely. And on social media, I
Oh,
was
okay.
living the perfect
Right.
life, right? I was in Asia. I was doing the backpacking, the lifestyle. I was living in beautiful places. On social media, it looked perfect. But in real life, I was lonely and bored because all I did was work trying to make more money. And I didn't have a life because backpacking, everybody was so transient that I was meeting that I'd have the same conversations day in, day out with different people. And I was like, there's got to be more to this life than having the same conversation every single day and doing the same thing every single day, just in a different, beautiful location. I was like, I gotta do something else.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. And that's I love what you said there because it's so true in terms of that social media. Like in at face value, you were perfect. You were living the perfect life. But there's
Yeah.
so much, I guess, lurking behind that, that face. And then I think a lot of us feel that in some way, whether we believe, we present the perfect marriage or the perfect business or the perfect something. There's a whole lot going on behind the perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And I always go back to that image of the iceberg and what's underneath the water and how hard
Yeah.
people are working to perceive what people see on the outside, and nobody really knows what happens on the inside and how hard you're swimming to keep afloat and make everything look like it's easy, right?
Yes, yes. And that what you just said, like making it look easy. For some reason, we're obsessed with, I don't know, making things easy and making it look easy or something like, and but we know if it was easy, everyone would do it. We know that the stuff that's hard, it's worth it. But we're so obsessed with easy.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
So,
that's one thing that I talk to my clients around a lot is being consistent and not making things like if when you've tried something once and it doesn't work, people go, well, that's it didn't work, and somebody else had massive success when they just posted that one thing on social media and it worked. I'm like, you didn't see all of the other things that they posted that didn't work before that one thing that blew up.
yes, yes, absolutely. So the one of the things that I loved when I was what I was discussing with you prior to this podcast was we were talking about how to build a Facebook group. And
Yeah.
every kind of marketing person that I talked to, they said there is great value in Facebook groups and creating Facebook community. And I certainly have one. And it does feel like, when you're in a Facebook, so when you have, I guess, that, those people around you that are, people you want to surround yourself with, it feels like a community. It feels like there's love there. But sometimes people do struggle, and I certainly struggle to build that up, so, and to keep that engagement going and keep that conversation going. So, talking about marketing and building, multiple businesses. Every, I guess, person in terms of marketing that I spoke to was talking about how much value there is in Facebook communities and Facebook groups, um, and it can feel like when you have people who interact in there, you can really feel a community, a sense of love. I certainly feel that in my community. Tell us, when we're starting to build Facebook group, essentially, um, where do we even start?
Yeah, so the main thing is to focus not on the vanity metrics. It's filling your group with ideal clients rather than just filling your group. So if you're just having
Hmm.
the groups that have hundreds and thousands of people in, most of those aren't ideal clients for that person. You want to make sure that your group is full of your ideal clients and not just a huge group for vanity metrics sake. My group is around the 2,000 people mark, and people leave my group regularly and join my group regularly. And I'm okay with that because my group is very much, I give my group members a warm hug, I like to call it. I show them around, I interact with them, and if they don't like it, if they don't like me, that's fine, they leave. And no skin off my nose. That is absolutely fine because they would have never bought from me anyway. So focus on being your authentic self inside of your group, and people will be drawn to that. So the other week in my business, I had an $11,300 week in sales, and all of those clients that bought from me, there were
Hmm.
3 clients that bought from me that week, have been in my community for over a year. And that is because I nurture
Right.
everybody through the process so that they're ready to buy from me at a time that feels good for them rather than at a time that feels good for me. I'm not pressuring them into anything at the moment that they join my group or I feel like they should buy from me. I am giving them the space and the knowledge to go and implement things and realize that I know what I'm talking about, and then they come back and buy from me at a later stage. So I don't like this heavy selling thing that a lot of coaches teach at the moment, and cold messaging and all of that sort of stuff. I am more about relationships and putting heart back into communities and being there for the longer term rather than a flash, quick buck, if you like, from people that join your group instantly.
Okay. Um, all right. So it's more so about building, I guess, that relationship and seeing how you can be there to serve people and help people, as opposed to you're here, so come buy from me. So as opposed to constantly looking for a sale, seeing how you can add value to these people, and they will come to you on their own, as opposed to you chasing them.
Yes, exactly. People message me and be like, "Hey, can I sign up with you? How is your offers working right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we have one-on-one, we have group. This is how you can connect with me. Let's jump on a call and I can see which one's best for you." And they're like, "Awesome, thank you." And that's because I fostered this environment inside of my community that I am so available for people to message, and I'm friendly when people ask me questions. People come up to me all the time in my DMs. Something happened with Facebook and I don't know what's going on with my Facebook account. I'm like, no worries, we'll get you sorted. And people can ask me questions and feel like they get real answers rather than come buy from me and I'll tell you that answer. I would much rather people get real
Right.
value from me and be able to implement that, move their business along, and then come back to me when they're making more money, because ultimately I am not cheap to work with. So I would rather they go and make money in their business so that they can feel like they're not giving me every single penny that they ever earn in their business when they work with me, and I'm more of an investment to get to them to that next level.
Right. I love that. So again, it's about building that community and relationship. I heard someone say, and this certainly resonated with me, and by no means am I a marketing expert. I mean, at all. um, but I've heard this lady say that, if you are chasing your clients, and what do we do when someone's chasing us? We run away because we're like, what do you want? Why are you chasing me? And it's certainly when I get constantly propositioned for something, for some offer, even if I feel like it might be worth it, I'm like, no, I'm straight away, I guess due to, spam marketing and things like that. I'm so desanitized from someone that I have no relationship with. I'm like, no, leave me alone. Go away, get away from me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And
Right.
building
Um,
your group and your community. The other thing is that people shouldn't wait to sell, because I see a lot of people be like, "Oh, well, I'm nurturing my community right now, and I will sell to them when I launch in 2 months' time." I'm like, why? Because those you're educating those people on the problems that they have, so they're looking for solutions, and then they're going to go somewhere else and buy those solutions because you're not standing up and say, I can help you with that. They're like, I'm looking for a solution. You're going, no, I can't help you for another 2 months because I'm not launching anything yet. Like, no. People are looking for those solutions, and you should be up there saying, yes, I can help you with that. Don't go anywhere else. I am your woman. Like, I will help you. Whereas these people who are nurturing their communities are just nurturing an audience for somebody else.
right. And so, in saying that, then how often should we sell to that community, or how often should we, um, so I guess my first question is probably, I guess prevalent to to that question is, how often do you interact in your community, and how often should we be interacting? Is it a daily thing, or is it once a week, or
It's a daily thing. Every single day you should be in your community, because your community is a mirror. So if you're only showing up weekly, then your audience are only going to show up weekly. If you're and remember that most people won't see your posts. So if you're posting once a week and 90% of your audience don't see that post, they're going to be like, where's this chick gone? She's created this group and I haven't seen a post from her in weeks, because they're not seeing every single one of your posts. The more you post, the more likely they are to see all of your content.
right, right. So again, it's using that, I guess, the Facebook algorithm, or whatever it is, to push your posts up. And again, that's a good point. If you show up, so however much you show up, that's how much your audience will show up as well. I love
Yeah,
that.
and
That's a brilliant point.
people who say that, like, oh, I'm just taking a break from my group. Like, why? Because
Hmm.
that's what your audience is going to think, that you are inconsistent, and whether you are being taking a break or whatever, your post should still be going out. Something should still be happening in your group, because your clients are going to think, well, what if she just takes a break from me if I sign up? Like, that's it. I'm just taking a break. You can't
Right.
contact me.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, but I just signed up with you. So you have to be consistent, because then that's what your clients are going to come to expect from you.
Right. I love that. So then to ask now, my previous question that I started to ask was, if we're posting every day, so if we, or not posting, but interacting in some way every day in this community, how often should we then do the sale, I guess, or offer something?
3 to 4 times a week is usually my what I say.
Okay. Yeah. Um, And I guess, would you do that as a part of, because again, that salesy stuff can feel very inauthentic, and I guess it gets on depending on your brand. But I think majority of the people are wanting to sound, I guess, authentic and natural. Do you do it as part of the post? So kind of like, here's some information, and if you're needing help, here's where you can get it? Or do you think, or do you find that straight sales work better? This is where you can find me.
You can you can do both. So mix it up and have some value that leads to a sale, and have just sales posts. Remember that you are a business and selling is your authenticity. If you are not selling as a business, you're not being authentic and you've got a hobby, not a business. So get over your own self and start selling, because if you're not selling, you're not being of service, and therefore you've got a hobby, not a business, and people are not going to buy from you.
I like that. That's a good point.
Yeah, so many people come to me and say, I'm not making sales from my Facebook group. And I go and have a look at it. I'm like, when was the last time you told anybody what you sell? Like, you are just out there giving value, which is great, but nobody knows what to buy from you. Like, I have no idea what you sell. I can go through people's groups and I'm like, your value is awesome. I don't know what you offer. So if I am looking specifically at your group, looking to go, okay, I want to buy from you, where can I buy? And not finding out what is your offer, then your ideal clients that are just scrolling through Facebook, meandering, are never going to know what you buy, what you sell.
Right. And so that's why I guess it is so important to get over that, whatever that mindset or belief around selling. But again, it's not just, constantly here, buy from me. It's also about, I guess, building that relationship, adding value, and then also offering, here's how I can help further.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Okay. So how do we then start growing our numbers, and where do we start finding these people? Because I know you said, numbers don't matter. So we don't necessarily need 100,000 people in our group, but at the same time, we need more than 2. So how do we actually start building and bringing our audience in?
Yeah, so there are a few ways that I do this. One is getting on podcasts, doing speaking stuff, getting in front of other people's audiences is a really quick and easy way to build that know, love, and trust factor and bring people over to your groups. Sometimes I can do a podcast and have 30 or 40 people join my group the next day it's gone live. Like, that is the power of being in front of somebody else's audience and giving value, and people are like, this chick knows what she's talking about, I'm going to go check her out. So get in front of other people's audiences and leverage that. Get in front of other people's communities. If you can be active in other communities, then that is a fantastic way to leverage other people that are already on Facebook, already in other groups, and looking for support or in other places. When I talk about being in other groups, one of the things that a lot of my clients struggle with is finding other groups that they can connect in. And I teach a 5-point strategy, content strategy, to be in other people's groups that do not involve selling. So this is not in groups that you need to promote in, because we don't like those groups anyway. Those groups that you can spam fest, nobody is ever looking at those posts anyways.
Yes.
So we want to be in groups where you can't necessarily promote, but you want to show up as the expert. So you look at your audience as a whole human and everything else that they're interested in, and then go and find groups that you are the only person in that group that is talking about your thing. So you're not going to somebody else. So if you're a weight loss coach, for example, you're not going to other Facebook groups that are full of weight loss coaches and specific to weight loss, because one, you're going to piss that Facebook group owner off, and two, you're competing with others, right? But think about your ideal client as a whole human. If they're a mum, a woman, what other groups are they going to be in? They'll be in mum groups, or women's groups. If they're entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial groups, or business groups, go and be there and be the only person talking about weight loss in that group. And suddenly you become the expert and the go-to person. And this is exactly how I built my agency, social media management agency. I focused on working with wellness entrepreneurs, so yoga instructors and life coaches and holistic practitioners when I first started. And I became the person to go to if you had a wellness business and needed social media management. Because I talked about it all the live long day in other people's groups. I didn't have my own community at that time either. So I was leveraging other people's communities to get clients, and people were referring people to me. People I had never met or interacted with were referring me clients because they'd seen my posts so consistently that they're like, oh, this chick Deasha, you should go and speak to her because I've never worked with her, but she knows what she's talking about because she keeps posting about it all the live long day. So go and chat with her, and people would
Yeah,
sign
yeah.
up with me. I'm like, oh, thank you, random stranger, for sending over this great lead. But that's the power of being consistent and showing up in these environments and being the expert and the go-to person that answers all those questions and gives massive value.
Wow, I love that. Now tell me something, and I know I've struggled with this, and I'm pretty sure many other women have. So of course we want to bring value in other groups, just as you said. So be active and really start talking about your subject and stuff you know. Sometimes those things can be very time consuming. Um, is there any tips or tricks that you have come across, or you know, one of your clients or something like that that you can share with us that can help us manage these? Because sometimes it could take you know, 2 or 3 hours a day or something like that. You know, if doing this, and we don't necessarily all have 2 or 3 hours a day.
Yeah. So the process that I teach can be done in less than 45 minutes a day. You should have around 5 to 10 groups that you are active in consistently, and that is it. And then you should be active in those, 2 of those every single day. So you go in, you engage in the group for
Yes.
about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you share your post. You get out, you go to the next one. Engage in the group 10 to 15 minutes, you share your post, you get out. You're done. And that is about half an hour to 45 minutes per day. The next day you do the same thing. And you recycle those posts. So you're not sharing the different posts throughout the whole week, but you can recycle those posts throughout those groups in the week. So you're in that group at least once a week, sharing your post and being of service. But then over the course of the week, in that half an hour, 45 minutes, you're in 10 groups, sharing value and sharing your posts.
Wow. Okay, that's sounding a little bit more manageable and like a I guess a solid plan, because I certainly, you know, especially when something takes up a lot of our time and it's something that doesn't always come up, you know, you don't post today and tomorrow you get a client. It's something that builds up over time.
Yeah.
It's very easy to give up on, I must admit.
I said you need to make sure that's in your diary and it's a non-negotiable for you. Or you can outsource and get a VA to do it as well if that's something that you want to do and you're in a position in your business to be able to do. But make sure that it is in your diary to do as a non-negotiable every day. And I have my sort of KPIs up on my board behind me that I must do that are non-negotiables for me every single day. And one of those is posting in groups, it's sending messages, it's having conversations, and it's adding friends to my network. So I'm consistently those are non-negotiables. That's on top of my to-do list of everything else that you have to do as a business owner. But those are my non-negotiable and must tick these off every day.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. So it's about again just prioritizing it and seeing how much value long term it's going to bring. Which then brings me to my next question, is how long till we start seeing, I guess, or should we start seeing the value? Because again, I assume this is something that's going to that's long, so it's not short-term gain. It's, you know, it's long-term gain, and it's something that can be sustained for a very long time. Um, but again, we may give up, you know, if we don't see something straight away in the first week. So how long have you found that, you know, I guess on average, do we have to be active in those groups before we can start seeing some results?
Do you know, it is down to the individual person. So if you look at individual people and their buying personas, some people will buy instantly. And I have a client, she's a long-term client of mine, one of my very first coaching clients, and she's still with me. And we joke that every time I put something out, I'm like, Antonia, do you want to come buy this? And she's like, yes, because that's it. Her buying persona. She will buy everything. She's like, I'm in 100%.
Right.
But that's some people's buying persona, and I have been in groups, and people will see one post and buy everything I have the next day, because that's how they buy as an individual. Whereas other people are much more, I need to see all of your stuff. I need to binge watch everything. And that's when you can watch people. I know, like at the moment, for example, I'm watching somebody who has been binge watching all of my content, and you can tell because they're liking things and commenting on different videos in my group. So I'm like, okay, she's going on my leads list because she's obviously interested in what I'm talking about. So I will follow up with her at some point in the future and make sure that she has all the information that she needs, and if I can be of service. So you can see people sometimes watching all of your stuff, other times nothing. I have signed clients where they've gone, I've watched every single one of your videos, I've been following you for years, and I'm like, who are you? Like, I have no idea who these people are, because they've just been silently watching everything that I do for so long that I'm like, oh, cool, okay, great. And they're like, I want to pay you $6,000. I'm like, awesome, okay. But so people buy in different ways. So just know that just because you're not making sales right now, they might be slower in that buying cycle, and you will have people that are watching you and slowly learning from you and will be ready to buy in the future. And it also comes down to your offers too. I launched a 6-month offer. I'd been coaching for a while, and I'd been offering 3-month coaching packages. I literally posted in my group just 2 lines that said, you can now work with me for 6 months. I'm taking new clients currently. And I had somebody message me that day and was like, I've been waiting for you to offer a 6-month program. I'm like, you could have just asked. I would have done one. Like, I could have just done one for you. You didn't have to wait for me to post about it. But they signed up instantly. I've been waiting for you to do a 6-month offer. I'm like, okay, cool.
I love that. I love that. So yeah, it's sometimes I guess just that and people are afraid to ask, or they're afraid to speak up, and it's just really knowing your audience. And again, that interaction pays a lot, um, because then they have that freedom to go, oh my God, yes.
Exactly. Yeah, so just showing up and showcasing what you're up to as well. So showcasing client wins, showcasing your own wins. And I always say that as an entrepreneur, you have to learn to toot your own horn, because nobody else is going to do it for you. So if you don't stand up and shout out and say, I'm freaking amazing at what I do, and you should come and pay me some money to help you do this because look how cool I am, then nobody else is going to do that for you, and you're just going to blend into the background.
Right. Yes. And I guess that's again another important thing to remember and for us to get over is being comfortable with talking about how about ourselves and how good we are at what we do. Because essentially that's why we're here, because we believe that we are good at something. We believe we can help people in whatever it is, whether you have a product or a service, it doesn't matter, or whether you're working for someone. It makes no difference, because you believe that you can do something with your skills or with your knowledge, but yet we're so afraid to say it sometimes. It's just that trying to stay modest, and
Yes.
fear of speaking up. Tell me, do you in the
Yeah.
Facebook groups, so other people's Facebook groups, do you ever do a sale on there in terms or is it just about adding value?
It depends on the groups. So some groups will allow you to promote and others won't. So if they don't allow you to promote, I'm not going to piss anybody off or break any rules, so I don't sell anything. What I do is build relationships. And some of my clients
Yeah.
have come from quite a large group that you can't promote in. And I've got a post on my rotation that talks about a selfie challenge I did. So a few years ago, I went out every single day for 30 days and took a selfie with a stranger. A complete stranger I had to go and have a conversation with, and have enough of a conversation to be like, hey, can I take a selfie with you? I'm doing this weird challenge. And I did it every single day for 30 days. Even one of the days when I didn't want to go out or do anything, I had to go to like the shop, and I got photos of me with a security guard because they couldn't find anybody else. Like, and the rejection, so many people said no. And that is heartbreaking. So I have a post where I share the photos and I share the story around me going out and doing this. And I just talk about getting outside of your comfort zone and how business is everything is outside of your comfort zone. And you just have to get used to living outside of your comfort zone. And doing a challenge like this really pushed me outside of my comfort zone. And I have signed 2 clients to my knowledge from this specific post in groups that I can't promote in. They've messaged me and gone, I just loved your vibe and the post about selfies, and they've signed up and paid thousands of dollars to work with me.
Right. Okay. And I'm understanding now that it's again, in terms of adding value, and of course, if the group allows it, you can always sell, but it again, it's comes back to, even if they do allow it, it doesn't necessarily mean you'd sell all the time. So it's about adding value so people understand, because I assume there's a lot of, I know certainly in my field, there's so many people out there doing the same thing. So adding that value helps people connect with you more, so they know, okay, I should go with her as opposed to someone else because I connect with that person.
Yeah, your individuality is your uniqueness. That's why people buy from you over anybody else. And that's why I said at the start, like, my group, some people leave because I'm my own unique weirdo person, and I'm okay with that. And some people come into my group and go, she's a bit much, and leave. That's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I am not meant to be for everybody, and that's okay. So people do leave, and new people come all the time. And it's getting to a point that you can accept your own weird uniqueness, and that is why people buy from you over others.
I love that. I love about acceptance again, and that weird but needed uniqueness, because it would be so boring if we were all the same. And I certainly feel
Yes.
that as well. I'm all about the deep stuff, and I'm always talking about the why and just dig it out and let's sit with it. And having people resonate with that, and some people don't want to do that. Some people are not, and that's okay as well. But we are the way we are. That's what's needed in the world, not the way other people are telling us to be, or that we should be copying someone else. If I should have been copying someone else, then that's who I would have been. The way I am and the way you are and the way everyone else is, that's what's needed in the world. So tell us, what is this group that you have that, if people want to know more, and I'm sure they will, I certainly will, I'm jumping on to join straight away. What is the community group that you have on Facebook, and where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, so come along to Scale from 4 to 5 Figure Months for entrepreneurs. You'll just search into Google. You can also search my name. My Facebook group is all over my profile, and there are not many Deasha Waddups, you'll be surprised to know, on Facebook. So I'm pretty easy to find anywhere. So come along and search me, friend request me, join my group, and come and hang out and say hello. I love connecting with new people, and I'm always after new connections. And if you have a group you want me to come and say hello in, then send me a message and let me know your group, and I would love to connect with anybody as well.
I love that. Thank you so much. We will have the link to your group and to your website and your social medias in the description wherever you're listening to this, or watching this. So this is going to be, I think it's going to help out so many people. And again, just reiterating that marketing about adding value and creating connections, but also being okay with selling and promoting your stuff, knowing that whatever it is that you are giving, people need. That's, and a lot of people will find value in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so much stuff in my group. So if you come over and join my group, there's so many guide sections all around growing, selling, and nurturing inside of your audience, and you can access all of that stuff for free. And I'm constantly doing challenges and masterclasses on growing, engaging, and selling inside your Facebook groups. So you can come and join the next one, and yeah, come and say hello in the group.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. Again, the description of Deasha's group and her social media will be the details, so will be in the description. And can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.